On the morning of October 25, 1944, USS Samuel B. Roberts, a modest destroyer escort, faced an unprecedented challenge off the coast of Samar Island in the Philippines. Commissioned only 5 months earlier, this 1,745-ton vessel and her crew of 224 sailors encountered a Japanese fleet of overwhelming strength. 4 battleships, 6 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, 2 destroyers, and 1 submarine and 11 destroyers, totaling over 200,000 tons. At the head of this force was Yamato, the largest battleship ever built, boasting 9 18.1-inch guns capable of firing 3,200-pound shells up to 25 miles. Lieutenant Commander Robert Copeland addressed his crew and made it clear they were about to engage in a battle with little expectation of survival. Their mission was to do as much damage as possible and buy time for the vulnerable American escort carriers they were tasked to protect. The odds were staggering. The American force, Taffy 3, consisted of 6 slow-moving escort carriers and a screen of 3 destroyers and 4 destroyer escorts, just 7 small ships with a combined displacement of 25,000 tons. The Japanese outgunned and outweighed them by a factor of 8. Worse, the American battleships had been lured north during the night in pursuit of a Japanese decoy force, leaving Taffy 3 dangerously exposed. By 7:05 a.m., the screen of American destroyers and escorts, including Samuel B. Roberts, turned to face the enemy. The Japanese fleet was closing rapidly, and escape was impossible. Rather than flee, the lightly armed American ships charged forward to protect the carriers. Samuel B. Roberts pushed past her engineering limits thanks to the work of Chief Engineer Lieutenant Lloyd Trowbridge, who bypassed the safety systems to increase the ship's speed to 28 knots, 4 knots above design. The destroyer escort would need every bit of speed to close within torpedo range and launch a counterattack. As shells from Japanese cruisers began to rain around them, Lieutenant William Burton and his forward gun crew opened fire. Trained for anti-submarine warfare, not surface combat, they nevertheless kept up a rate of 15 rounds per minute. With each shot, they targeted the approaching cruisers, focusing initially on Chikuma, which was leading the Japanese charge on the right flank. At 7:40 a.m., Samuel B. Roberts reached torpedo range. Copeland ordered the launch of all 3 Mark 15 torpedoes. Though none hit Chikuma, the attack forced the cruiser to turn away, disrupting her attack run and buying precious time for the American carriers. Soon after, the Roberts opened fire again, hitting Chikuma's forward superstructure and damaging her. The ship continued to fight, taking on new targets as they closed in. When the heavy cruiser Tone moved into range, Burton's gun crew successfully disabled one of its main turrets with a well-placed 5-inch shell, a remarkable feat for a ship not designed to fight cruisers. By 8:10 a.m., the forward gun had exhausted all 304 rounds of its ammunition. Meanwhile, the aft gun crew, led by gunner's mate 3rd Class Paul Henry Carr, kept firing with relentless determination. Carr's mount had also been pushed to its limits, firing nearly 325 rounds. At 8:15 a.m., the Roberts took its first serious hit from an 8-inch shell. It passed through the hull without detonating but caused flooding and a list. A second shell exploded inside the ship, killing several men and damaging critical systems. Despite the damage, Carr's crew kept firing manually after losing power to the aft gun. Disaster struck when a powder charge exploded due to the gun's overheating, killing several of Carr's crew. Mortally wounded himself, Carr tried to load the final shell. Though he could not fire it, his determination exemplified the spirit of his crew. Soon after, a massive 14-inch shell from a Japanese battleship delivered a fatal blow to the Roberts, blowing open a 40-foot gash in the hull and flooding the engine room. The ship lost all propulsion, fires burned unchecked below decks, and with power lost, Copeland ordered the crew to abandon ship. By 9:35 a.m., Samuel B. Roberts slipped beneath the surface of the Philippine Sea, the deepest warship ever sunk in combat at over 22,000 feet. Of the 224 crew members, 109 survived the sinking and floated in the warm waters surrounded by debris, fuel oil, and increasing danger. The men endured exposure, dehydration, and shark-infested waters for 50 hours. Covered in oil, suffering from burns and wounds, they clung to life rafts and debris. Copeland, still alive, kept order, assigned leaders, and made the men count off to ensure no one slipped away unnoticed. His leadership likely saved dozens. At 7:45 a.m. on October 27th, a patrol craft escorting landing ships spotted the survivors. Rescue followed, and 95 men were pulled from the sea, barely alive. They were treated for injuries, infections, and fuel poisoning. Some went to hospitals, others returned home by December. The actions of the Samuel B. Roberts and her sister ships prevented a potential catastrophe. The Japanese believed they were fighting a major American fleet and, facing stiff resistance and heavy damage, turned away. Their retreat ensured the survival of the invasion fleet at Leyte Gulf. The battle off Samar became known as the greatest last stand in naval history. The Roberts, Johnston, Hull, and the carriers they protected faced hopeless odds and emerged as legends. The Samuel B. Roberts was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation. Copeland received the Navy Cross. Paul Henry Carr, who died holding the final shell, was posthumously awarded the Silver Star. In tribute, the U.S. Navy later named guided missile frigates USS Carr and USS Copeland in their honor. And in June 2022, explorer Victor Vescovo discovered the wreck of the Roberts still resting upright at the bottom of the Philippine Sea, her final resting place, a symbol of courage and sacrifice. The last survivor, Alfred Lenore, passed away in 2022, just months before his ship was found. Their story remains one of the most heroic naval battles ever fought, a testament to ordinary sailors who achieved extraordinary feats in the face of impossible odds.